Hello, Oracles. Well, Tesla pops 8% on the day. Absolutely amazing to see this. We're going to get into the charts in a minute, but we also got the vehicles that are going to qualify and what those qualifications are for the EV tax credit. So we're going to dive into those in a minute just to see where does Tesla fall on this and what they are going to need to do in order to make sure all of their vehicles qualify. So first we're going to jump into the charts, and as you can see here, a nice wonderful 8% day. We had over 220 million shares trading hands yet again. This is the end of the year. Sounds like tax loss harvesting ended a couple of days ago, which is why we've seen the green days coming. This is also in alignment with shorts not shorting as much as they were. So I think this right here is shorts not shorting, people starting to buy back in, not as much selling pressure going on. This again is that rebalancing at the end of the year. So we're seeing this nice push up. I don't know how long it's going to last. We've got production and delivery numbers coming out on Monday, most likely. We are going to be getting the CPI, PPI. We've gone over this already, but these are just things that I'm paying attention to. I don't know if this is going to be a bull trap, trying to get people to buy back in before the rug gets pulled out. Things that I pay attention to when it comes to sentiment and emotional swings in the market. Market manipulators play with people's emotions. That's exactly what they're doing. They do not do this with emotions. They don't have their emotions in there. They know that retail investors are going to trade with their emotions. So they take advantage of that. Right now, judging by the sentiment I've been seeing on Twitter, here in the comments as well, we have been getting pummeled for the last month. Heck, we've been getting pummeled all year long. People are just tired of it. We finally got a couple of nice green days, and all of a sudden people are like, we're going back to the moon. Not to spread any FUD or kind of pop that bubble, but chill out. We are not going back to the moon yet. I think we are long term. Don't get me wrong. I think we are going to go back to the moon once all of this dust settles, but the dust hasn't settled yet. So we just need to remember that just because we had 2 good green days in a row does not mean we are heading back to the moon. Just be patient, let it be. We'll see how things trade. Awesome day, love it. As you can see here, we hit that $122 resistance. That's where we stopped on the day. You know, these lines have been here. You guys have seen them. This is just where we're at. So we hit that 122. We did have a gap up at 112. So we've got a gap down to 112 right now that most likely will get filled. I just don't know when. RSI is at 28. So on the daily chart, we're still oversold, but coming back up. Tomorrow being the last day of the year, we might get a green day and end up going above that 30 for oversold. Now on the weekly chart, we are still at 28 as well. And on the monthly chart, we are at 38. So still relatively low on all of the charts, not oversold on the monthly. My gut is telling me that we are going to need to come down to oversold on the monthly before we finally do hit that bottom. That's what my gut is telling me. Again, time will tell as to what is going to transpire. But when we start looking at the sentiment that's going on in the market, we're starting to look at people who were shorting the stock, like Chicken Genius. I believe Meet Kevin was. You guys can correct me if I am wrong, but I believe they both were. And we know that when they were pretty negative on Tesla in their videos. Now, all of a sudden, they're pretty positive on Tesla in their videos. So, you know, it kind of tells me that they're done shorting. The shorts are done shorting. But are these shorts going to reload after we get the production and delivery numbers? Again, lots to play out. Not sure. I'm not saying this to spread FUD, just trying to protect you guys and make you aware of this. So in case it does happen, you're not surprised by it. And now looking at the EV tax credit situation that is going on right now. So the IRS just released this today, so you guys can check it out yourself. Easiest way for me to find it, I just went, Googled IRS Tesla EV tax credit. Takes you right here. You'll just click on the 2023 one. There's a little link for it. And then I went down, and actually earlier today, GM was not there. So I'll check that one out in a minute. But Tesla on here. Here is where things get shocking, and this is where the IRS screws Tesla. Looking here, we've got the Model 3 rear-wheel drive and long range, both at 55,000. The performance is not on here. Do not know why. Again, GM wasn't here earlier today, and now it is. So maybe it's just something that hasn't loaded in yet. Then we have the Model Y 7-seaters, all qualifying at the $80,000 level. Now, remove those two seats, and suddenly the Model Y is no longer an SUV. It becomes a sedan, and that has to come down to that $55,000 level. Now, I know Rob Maurer was just doing a live stream about this. You start taking a look at other vehicles like the ID4, and you look here at the ID4 Pro all-wheel drive, which is basically like the Model Y. That one is allowed $80,000. And then we look here at Ford, we've got the Ford Escape plug-in hybrid for $80,000. Why is this as a hybrid at the $80,000 level? I don't know. Now, it is also strange that the Mach E is 55,000 and it's not at the $80,000 level. So I truly don't know what the IRS was thinking when they came up with all of this. There's no real explanations in this as to how they broke it all down. But then looking at GM here, there's nothing listed as what the IRS says here. This manufacturer has entered into a written agreement with us to become a qualified manufacturer, but hasn't yet submitted a list of specific makes and models that are eligible. Please check back here for updated information. So, congratulations to GM on leading the way, and you haven't even given them a list of the vehicles and models that you want eligible for the EV tax credit, which, by the way, goes into effect next week. And now Matthias Fons put out an awesome chart today, kind of reflecting what Tesla needs to do in order to become eligible for all of their vehicles. So the Model 3 rear-wheel drive is already eligible. They're under that $55,000 cap. The Model 3 Performance, which we did not see on the list, is coming in over that $55,000. So, as we saw with GM, perhaps Tesla just did not even send it over as a vehicle that they want to be eligible. I don't know. I don't know if this is something they're going to work on. Maybe they're going to fix it afterwards. Do not know on that one. The Model Y long range is over by almost $11,000. So, this is the vehicle that I was looking at getting. So I don't know if this is something Tesla is going to be coming down on the prices for. Looking at the Model Y Performance, they've got to come down almost $15,000. The Model Y 7-seater already qualifies, not an issue. And so my initial thoughts on this were, I wonder if Tesla kind of knew this ahead of time. This is why they ended up dropping that price by $7,500 on their vehicles for the Model 3s and the Model Ys, because they can then get a sense for what is going on for demand at that point. Because if they're going to have to drop down the prices of their vehicles for the Model Y just to be able to qualify for this EV tax credit, they're now going to have a better understanding of what demand is going to look like. If this is how it's going to end up playing out, this just goes back to how important production is going to be. Because if Tesla is going to assume that they are going to take a massive margin hit by dropping these prices down. Now, don't forget, Tesla is going to reap the benefits of that $7,500 EV tax credit, so it does give them a little bit of a cushion, but there's still about $4,000 that Tesla is going to have to eat themselves on the bottom line and take that hit on their margins. If that does end up happening, this is just going to tell us that Tesla has to significantly increase production just to be able to meet that demand. Now, again, we are going into what could potentially be a recession. If that does end up happening, we are already expecting demand to potentially come down due to that. So this might actually work out in Tesla's favor in the long run anyway, because Tesla did want to come down on their prices. They can then come down on their prices. It's going to increase demand. And we're going to go back to what we've been saying all year long. Going into these times, it's going to come down to whoever can produce the most. Clearly, because Tesla started before everyone else and ramps faster than everyone else, Tesla is producing significantly more than everyone else. As of right now, they have a run rate of 2.1 million vehicles that they are slated to produce in 2023. If that is the case, that means that they are going to be having 2.1 million vehicles available to get delivered in 2023 as well. No one else is even close to that in the US. Now, granted, that 2.1 million is globally that they are going to be producing, but we've got Fremont, we've got Austin, and then we should be hearing about a new factory coming up soon. If that does end up being Mexico, it's not like we're going to see any production coming out of there anytime soon, but because they're going to be coming up and ramping, that will get them back on board and pushing even stronger as we get into late 2024, 2025, when that factory does end up start ramping. And so quite honestly, at this point, I don't know what Tesla is going to end up doing with their Model Y. I don't know if they're going to maybe go out there and fight this. Maybe they're going to appeal the where the Model Y fell on this list. I don't know if maybe they've already known this again, and that's why they came down on their prices. Maybe this is something again that they're just going to come down on their prices next year, which is something I anticipated anyway. So maybe this is what's going to happen. Maybe this is where Project Highland comes in. Maybe Project Highland is for more than just the Model 3. Maybe this is for the Model 3 and the Model Y. This is going to cut costs, which in turn is going to allow them to come down on prices without taking as much of a margin hit. Lots of questions that are out there, and you guys can let me know your take in the comments below what you think Tesla is going to do based upon this new information from the IRS. Me as a consumer, I'm excited about this. This is one of the many reasons I was pushing mine off and I was going to be ordering it this year. I'm now anticipating those prices coming down. Let's say Tesla brings down the Model Y long range to $54,990. It is now going to qualify for that EV tax credit. You take $7,500 off of that, we're now looking at $47,500 for the vehicle. That there is a lot easier to handle, especially if these interest rates are going to be as high as they are. So now you're going to be financing a lower price, so the monthly payments may be about the same, which stinks because you're paying a lot more in interest, but at least it's more palatable for the consumer to take in. And now also don't forget, it is just the EV tax credit for 2023. In 2024, that is going to be an actual rebate coming off, which means that that will truly be the selling price of $47,500. So a lot of things to play out, but I do think that end of this year and beginning of 2024 will be a consumer's pick for being able to buy vehicles at amazing prices. So what's going to transpire between now and the end of the year? Tesla's got some things to work out. I don't know if we're going to get any information on Monday when we get the production and delivery numbers, or if we're going to get more information on that when we get to the Q4 earnings call. But I have no doubt we will get some information as to what Tesla's plans are within the next month. And we did get another analyst rating update. Again, last 2 weeks of the quarter, we normally get a lot of these. So Rob Maurer here tweeting out, Alex Potter has just reiterated an overweight rating on Tesla and a $340 price target. Quote, we do not believe Tesla's market share is suddenly succumbing to a wave of new competition, and we do not believe anything has changed with the long-term thesis. And our very own Karav down here saying, first smart Wall Street analyst. And seriously, this is something I've been saying on here, which is, again, near-term stuff is going to be a bit dicey. We need to be realistic about that. It's just the reality of the situation. It's what we saw all year long in 2022. We're going to see that continue into 2023. However, my long-term thesis has not changed, which means that the money that we can get, that return on our investment from the prices we are at now, will be even better in the long run. Long run price targets haven't changed, so if I can buy it for even less now, that is even better. Think about it this way, and I've said this analogy before. You've got a $100 bill. You know that in 2030, that $100 bill is going to be worth $100. Right now, you can buy that $100 bill for $50. Of course you want to buy that because you know that in 7 years, you're going to double your money. Now, let's say that that $100 bill in the next few months was going to come down to $25. Just an example, folks. Don't freak out. I'm not saying that Tesla is going to have from here, but let's say it comes down to $25. Would you be mad about the fact that the price of this came down to $25 now, knowing that it's still going to be $100 in 2030? Or would you be even more excited about it because that means that you're going to 4x your money versus just 2x your money? That is the mentality I have when it comes to Tesla stock. So when people are coming at me saying, you're crazy, why do you keep saying it's coming down? That is the exact reason why. That is my mentality. Of course, there is no guarantee in this scenario that Tesla is going to be worth what my price target is in 2030. But nobody knows what it's going to be worth in 2030. You know, Elon sent out this email to his employees that says, just a quick note to thank you for your hard work and congratulate you on an exceptional execution in 2022. Since we have a lot of cars arriving at the last minute, it is important to rally hard and do everything we can to get our cars to customers who have ordered them before midnight on December 31st. Also, every incremental car we produce that can be delivered in time also matters. Please go all out for the next few days and volunteer to help deliver if at all possible. It will make a real difference. Thanks, Elon. By the way, don't be too bothered by stock market craziness. As we demonstrate continued excellent performance, the market will recognize that. Long term, I believe very much that Tesla will be the most valuable company on earth. Now, of course, this is something that we heard Elon say back on the Q3 earnings call. He reiterated it again on the Twitter space most recently last week. So here he is again saying this. So, again, going back to that $100 bill scenario, if we believe that Tesla is going to be the most valuable company on earth, don't you think that it would be good to buy it at an even bigger discount? Granted, we don't know what that value would be as the most valuable company, but there's a very good chance it's going to be significantly more than it is right now. So these are the things to think about. This is my mentality going into this year, seeing as we have the potential to invest at a very low price into what could potentially be the most valuable company on earth. And now, of course, to get there, we do have a lot of work to go through. That is what Elon is reiterating to all of his employees. This is going to be the theme. We literally hear Elon say this at the end of every single year. If you go back to the emails that he sends out to the employees every single year at this time, that's almost verbatim what he says to everyone, minus the whole craziness and being the most valuable company in the world. But he has always said, it's good to push at the end of the quarter. We need to make this happen. Everything you guys do in your hard work is going to pay off in the long run. Now, some people did bring up how Tesla said that they're going to be smoothing out the wave. Why are they pushing if they're smoothing out the wave? Don't forget, the smoothing of the wave really came to mostly about exports, because when they're pushing out all of the exports, that end of quarter push for all of that is extremely expensive. Try and get cargo ships last minute, cargo containers last minute. All of these things, anytime you're trying to do something in rush form, is always going to cost more. That's the kind of stuff that they're smoothing out so that they don't have to pay as much money at the end of the quarter. So this is going to save them costs on their bottom line. That's going to help with their operating margins, and we'll see that pay off in Q4 earnings. And so going into tomorrow, I'm going to be looking at that $122 level. If we end up closing above that, that is going to be a good sign, because again, that $122 level of resistance right now will end up being that level of support again if we cross it. If we end up coming down and bounce off of 122 and do not break it, I'll be looking at that 112 level below, where we have that gap fill, and that 109 to 110 level as that level of support below us. So right now, the range we are in is that 109 to 122 range, and we will just monitor from here and see where we go. Again, tomorrow's the last day of the year, and then Tuesday we will come in and have production and delivery numbers. So anything can happen in the next week. So I cannot predict anything. We are just going to wait and see what happens. Now, just a quick side note, today was my son's 16th birthday. He passed his driver's permit test this morning with flying colors, a perfect 20 out of 20 score. I am very proud of him. So I'll be working with him on driving. He does have a car that his grandfather gave him, so he's been practicing with that. I have no concerns. He'll be a good driver on the road. But we had a nice little video that we did tonight over on his channel. I'll put that down in the pinned comment below if you guys want to check that out. You know, just one of his videos. Again, he does a channel on Yankees and baseball and all sorts of different baseball news. So if you guys want to give him a little support, goal for him by the end of the year is to get him to 50 subscribers. He currently is at 37. So any support you guys can give him for a little birthday present would be awesome. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all of the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. We do have a Discord chat. That link is down in the description. And if you'd like to support the channel any further, we do have a membership program and a Patreon. Those links are also in the description. Thank you so much. Have a great one.